Hey everyone, Player Code here, and welcome to another episode of Project Theme Park World. I know this has been quite a long time of a video, but I wanted to show you guys. As you can probably see over on the side over here, I'm basically showcasing what the new ride I have available is here. So imagine if you like really tall rides, and if you like the more sightseeing kind of scenery than compared to your usual rides that make you go do tosses and turns, flips you upside down. This ride is not going to be like that. So what I have here is something I like to call a sky dome. I know for many countries or many different states, they have different names for this kind of ride, but basically a good concept of it is that you have a pillar and then there's something like a sky dome or a little observatory, and all that does is it goes up real slowly and then it starts spinning, giving you kind of a view of what the theme park is, or maybe like the mountains, kind of like reminding you of your childhood, or maybe like that first date you had, in a sense. But this ride kind of took a little longer than I expected because I not only had to make it all in Neos, but I also had to try and make sure that it was more circular and that it was more easier on the eyes, in a sense. So I think I posted this video here. If I can show it real quick. So the ride that I was inspired to do this, oh, it might not be able to show it. Well, I'll put a link in the description for where I got the inspiration, but it's basically for those that are in the North Carolina area, you will probably know which ride I am talking about, and that is the Carowinds Carolina Skytower. And for those that are not familiar with it, as I would have probably had a picture of it, but it's basically what I was explaining and what I wanted to make this ride kind of be in a sense, where basically you would walk in and then the ride would slowly go up. You'd reach the top and then it would do a little bit of a spin. You would kind of see what's going on. In the original ride, in real life, you see that as you're slowly going up, I know my hands are not really the best example per se, but basically as you go slightly up, then the ride starts to then rotate and then it goes up to the very top, still keeps rotating, and then after a little bit of time, it then starts coming downwards, still spinning, but then once it reaches that same point, then it will stop rotating and then it will go into kind of a rest neutral area. So the logics of this was a little kind of difficult. I had to do a lot more tweening. So shout outs again to Vigilabo and Probable, who not only helped made sure that the logics was well scripted, and then made sure that everything was able to move more smoothly. So, but without further ado, and besides all this jammering, let me hop into my usual physical avatar. Okay, there we go. So now I have a physical body, or kind of a model that if, say, somebody was having their own personal avatar, they would hop into the ride and it'll look a lot easier. I seem to be neither rescale. Okay, there we go. All right, and so let's move into smooth POV. And here's the ride. After 4 minutes, here is how the ride looks, and then you might be able to kind of see it. There's the top of the ride where basically the observatory will go from, and it will go all the way up there. So let's hop in. The mechanics of how this works is that there's this little door thing that will basically slide through, and it will slide out and basically act like a collider, character collider. So you basically cannot pass through here. And then as you see, there's little seats where you can be able to hop in. This technically has kind of the same anchor concept as I have for, if you've seen my video for the Ferris wheel, I do recommend you check that out. You can see how that kind of worked, and I explain more about how the anchor system was positioned. So what we'll do is this button here that says start ride. What will happen is when I push this button, it'll have this door move, and then it will cause this whole observatory area to go up, and then we'll reach the very top. And then once it reaches the very top, it'll create a sequence where it will start this fella to rotate. And then once the rotation is done, then it will start to come down. Basically, TLDR, it will start a sequence there. So let's hop in, take a seat. As you can see, I'm sort of connected, glued to this. And then come over here, click start ride, door closes, and then we slowly start to rise. Now I know this theme park doesn't really have much of a scenery. It doesn't have any things to really stand out like, oh, hey, there's a old lady over there on a bench that's feeding breadcrumbs to pigeons, or hey, it looks like there's a guy that's peeing behind the trash cans. That I know that eventually there will be a time where I'll be able to get around to having more of a scenery to look at everything. So what I like to do is I like looking at the Ferris wheel because that's usually the one thing that I enjoy. Just kind of sitting in casually and just enjoying time sitting there. But without further ado, as you can kind of see, we're really going up high, a little higher than the Ferris wheel. I did try to do in real life do about 260 feet, so I thought this might be okay. And now, as you can see, we're basically starting to rotate. So basically what the logix is saying is that we would tweak or tween the position of the whole observatory here. And what it would do is it would move it to where we're located at, and then it would cause the whole rotation. The other best part too is thanks to Vigilabo, he actually made it where, as you can see, I'm not really shaking, I'm not going anywhere, and I can literally just run around here like a 5-year-old kid, wanting to not sit down or do anything like that. Okay, so now I think we've stopped the rotation, and now we're starting to descend there. The other thing that's nice too is Vigilabo had actually made it where your feet actually can be a little more anchored to the floor, because originally what happened is the body would start to do this whole jumping around like a fish out of water kind of concept. So it would be almost something like this as you're falling down, but thankfully it keeps you well grounded. Though in real life, I do encourage people to please just stay in your seat, remain seated, and wait till the ride's over with. And speaking of that, basically, we are close to the end of this ride being over with. I know it's kind of a little bit of a shorter ride in a sense that all these other rides you can be on the Ferris wheel as long as you like. You could be on the pirate ship as long as you like. But usually on this ride, I did some calculations, and in real life, basically, it shouldn't take as long as like 5 minutes or 6 minutes for this. So it's a little something simple there. If anybody else is thinking they maybe want the ride to be a little bit longer, I could look into putting a button or put out a timer so that anyone else can configure and move things around to how long they want to be up there at the very top and have the thing rotating as long as they want. But besides that, this is the Sky Tower that was created entirely in Neos with the help of everybody else in the Neos community. All right, everyone. So that'll be all for this episode of the Project Theme Park World. There's definitely a lot more projects to be doing in the future. I have been remembering and telling myself I need to start making some actual roller coasters. There is someone that had actually created a model for a roller coaster. I will put the link to their channel and the video of the model that they had created, just to kind of give you guys an idea of pretty much what I'm going to be working from there. But like I said, that's all for this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video and keep your eyes peeled for the next ride available. Have a good rest of your day.